Hello everyone, this is Preethi Channabasappa from Vishnu IAS. Today we shall be holding a discussion on economic previous year questions on the topic inflation. As I already discussed in the previous videos regarding basic information, basic facts about inflation, today we are continuing the same session with the PYQs of UPSC last years. In that, actually this topic is very important this year also, because now and then we are seeing in the newspapers that Government of India, RBI taking accommodative stance regarding inflation. It is taking hawkish policy regarding inflation targeting. So many news now and then are coming about the inflation, so we can expect more question in the coming years, that too in 2023 and 24 regarding the inflation. So this topic is very important from that point of view. On that note, I am taking you people to the questions, that is from 2011 I am discussing the questions till 2022. So the first question will be, the rapid increase in the rate of inflation is sometimes attributed to the base effects. What is base effect? Actually last video I discussed about the base effect. What is that? Base effect means the previous year that we take. Previous year, for example, when we are comparing the base inflation, that is we are taking, if we are taking 2010 as a base year, that is base year. Actually new CPI consumer price index 2015. In 2015 we are having the new series of CPI. In that we are having the base of 2011 and 12. It changed from 2004 to 5. On that note, let us see the options that they given. It is the impact of drastic deficiency in the supply due to failure of crops. Actually, due to failure of crops, what will happen? Supply will get reduced. This is actually a supply shock. This is actually one of the reason for inflation to cause. That is, actually this is the phenomena of, we know that this is the phenomena of cost push inflation, because of supply chain distortion, the cost of a price got increased over a period of time. That is cost push inflation. That is not a base effect. Then it is the impact of surge in the demand due to rapid economic growth. This is not inflation. Actually this is not a inflation only, because it is a rapid economic growth, means it's a development. Then it is the impact of price level of previous year on the calculation of inflation rate. Actually we can see this is one of the appropriate answer for this question. Let's see fourth option also. None of the statement A, B, C given above is correct in this context. Actually we saw that C is appropriate for this question, so we can end up with C option. We can settle with the C option. Then the next question, economic growth is usually coupled with deflation, inflation, stagflation, hyperinflation. We saw stagflation and hyperinflation are not causing economic growth. Deflation, it will cause recession, because decrease in the demand will cause recession. How decrease in the demand will reduce the profit of investor? If reduce the profit, it will coupled with not investing much. So economy growth will get affected, will paralyzed from this. That is inflation. That too, if they ask any particular inflation in this, that will be a creeping inflation. Very little amount of inflation is good for the economy. That's why RBI will never prefer 0% of inflation. It always prefer, like today's policies, that is recent policies, 4% plus or minus 2. This inflation they preferred, that is to accompany both growth rate and macroeconomic stability. So both are important from this point of view. That's why economic growth usually coupled with inflation. Actually this is an easy concept. Then comes, consider the following statement. This asked in 2013. Inflation benefits the debtor. Inflation benefits the bondholder. Actually this is a concept we actually face in the day-to-day effect. That is, when we give, say for example, A gave money to B. After 20 years, Like for example, after 3 years, if B return backs A, the purchasing power of that money will get reduced. So who will benefit? The B will get benefit. That is a debtor. The debtor will get benefit. Okay, the fixed income group will suffer because same amount they will get even during inflation, so that with the same amount they can command only few goods, and creditor will suffer and fixed income groups will suffer. Fixed salary holder will get suffered. Who will get benefit? Means debtor will get benefits, even bond holder will get benefits, because bond yield, the price of a bond according to the inflation, according to that year, that too with the interest rate. So we can settle with the option C, both will get benefit. If this is loss or something else, we can say it is a D, but here they both get benefit, that's why we can settle with the option C. Then which one of the following is likely to be the most inflationary in its effects? This question is that what will cause inflation? Actually, we can see almost all the questions are coming from cause effect only. So we can in that we can see the trend and we can accordingly prepare for the exam. Let us see the options here. Repayment of public debt. If you repay the public debt, the money in the government will get reduced, but it is not directly related to the inflation. Borrowing from the public to finance the budget deficit. Actually, from public, if government borrow, it will not increases the inflation, it will decreases the inflation, because money supply in the economy will get reduced. When money supply will get reduced, inflation will get reduced actually, because people cannot command more demand. Next comes borrowing from the banks to finance the budget deficit. From borrowing from bank to budget deficit means it wants to spend more on the infrastructure or more to the people. So it will be helping to reduce the inflation only. But what will cause the inflation means creating a new money to finance the budget deficit. RBI will print new money to finance to the government to have to fill the gap of the budget deficit. So this extra money created will increase the money supply in the economy, so it will increases the inflation. That is, creating new money to finance budget deficit will increases the inflation. That is, it will cause the inflation in its effect. Next question, if the interest rate is decreased in economy, it will decrease the consumption expenditure in the economy. Decrease the consumption expenditure. Actually, I will explain this phenomena. If interest rate get reduced, decreased, people don't want to deposit money in the bank, it will get reduced. People will borrow more money from the bank, What will they do from the borrowed money? They will invest, or they will do consumption expenditure. They will buy gold, anything. The consumer can do anything, but they will increase the borrowing, but they will decrease the deposit. So on this note, let's see the questions, the multiple choices. Decreases the consumption expenditure, we already saw, it will increases the consumption expenditure. Increases the tax collection of the government. How we will increase the tax collection of government? Actually, this tax collection, expenditure, these are related to the fiscal policy of the government. It is not related to the interest rate of the bank and all. Then comes increases the investment expenditure in the economy. We can keep this option for a while. Increase the total saving in the economy. The people will not deposit, people will not save more. So the question appropriate answer will be increase the investment expenditure in the economy. So we can settle with the option C. Then comes, which one of the following is likely to be the most inflationary in effect? Actually, this question repeated in 2013 and it again came in 2014. That's why previous year questions are very much important. For this question, we already saw creating new money to finance the budget deficit will be the answer. Next comes, a rise in general level of prices may be caused by. General level of price means inflation. This inflation, they are asking what are all the what are all the causes of this increase in inflation? That is, an increase in the money supply, This can be one option, because when money supply increased, inflation will get increased. A decrease in the aggregate level of output. Aggregate level of output, what will happen? Output will decrease. Means people will not have sufficient goods. Overall having good money, they will buy the same deficit goods with a high money. So this will cause inflation. So we can say inflation caused due to decrease in the aggregate level of output. Next, an increase in the effective demand. Actually, this is the demand they are making. That is, they are ready to pay more money for a good compared to others. That is increase in the effective demand. So all these options seems to be appropriate, so that we can settle with the option D. Next question. In 2015, this question asked, with reference to inflation in India, which of the following statement is correct? Inflation. Direct question on inflation. Let's see the options. Controlling the inflation in India is the responsibility of the government only. These types of extreme words usually wrong in the UPSC. That's why we can keep this option aside. Next comes, the Reserve Bank of India has no role in controlling the inflation. Actually, RBI has the more role in controlling inflation, because I already told inflation targeting is the role of RBI. That is Urjit Patel Committee. We already know. We will be knowing Urjit Patel Committee. This committee recommended for creating Monetary Policy Committee, which consists of both members from government, members from RBI. This committee will decide the inflation rate, will take the measures on inflation. So they are targeting the inflation through this committee. So RBI is having more role in controlling the inflation. We can eliminate this option here only. Decreased money circulation helps in controlling inflation. Decreased money circulation helps in controlling inflation. Actually, the government will do this only because they will increase the tax rate, indirect tax rate. So money circulation, the economy will get reduced. RBI will decrease the interest rate, increase the interest rate. So money supply in the economy will get reduced. Next, so this option can be, we can keep aside. Increased money circulation helps in controlling the inflation. When money supply get increased, money circulation get increased, it is an effect of multiplier effect. This is nothing to do with the inflation. So we can settle with the option C, because decreased money circulation helps in controlling the inflation. Actually, money circulation means from bank to consumer or to investors to consumer. This is the circulation that happens. They will in turn deposit in the bank, they will borrow. So this is the money circulation. This money circulation, if get reduced, this path get reduced. So they will cannot buy the more goods. So decrease the money circulation helps in controlling the inflation. Then comes, with reference to Indian economy, demand pull inflation. This is a type of inflation, can be caused or increased by which of the following? So this question asked in 21. So we can say, let's see the options. Expansionary policies. What is expansionary policy? They will, the literal meaning of expansionary policies, expanding the money supply in the economy. So this expanding the money supply in the economy will increase the inflation. So they asked also inflation, but we should see that this is a reason for demand pull inflation. Demand pull inflation means what? The demand pull inflation means people will demand more, even at the high cost. Even with the high cost, if people able to buy, if people able to command high demand, that is called demand pull inflation. That is, demand is pulling the inflation. So when money supply get increased, people will definitely command the more goods and with high prices also. Then fiscal stimulus. Fiscal stimulus means, I already told, fiscal stimulus, when the words fiscal comes to mind, we always think about tax or expenditure. So this tax and expenditure, if gets vary also, inflation will get affected. Fiscal stimulus, if government is giving fiscal stimulus in terms of decreasing tax rate, or giving incentives, or expending more, so inflation will get affected. People will command more goods. Next, inflationary indexing wages. Inflation indexing wage means, I will explain. If wages 100 rupees usually, but upon increase in the inflation, if anybody decided to give wages of 120 rupees, upon considering the 20 rupees increase in the price, this is inflation indexed price. But with this amount, they can't command the more goods. They can command what prices prevailing in the economy. Next, higher purchasing power. Higher purchasing power, this is actually one of the reason, because higher purchasing power will command the more goods. People can buy more goods with the more purchasing power. Then we can see rising interest rate. Rising interest rate, what will do? It will reduce the money supply in the economy. When money supply get reduced, the demand in the economy will get reduced. So we can see in this option 1, 2 and 4 will be the appropriate, and we can settle with the option A. Next question. In inflation, which of the following is responsible for maintaining price stability by controlling inflation? That is in 2022. Actually, this is a very easy question they asked in 2022. That is, we already know this is RBI. RBI has the most power in controlling the inflation. So, with this, we can conclude the today's concepts, like today's topic PYQ, economics PYQ. So continue with this series. I will do more videos. Please stay tuned with Vishnu IAS. Thank you.